Celebrity friendships have a fandom of their own. One of these epic friendships is that of Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac. They've been friends for 17 years and aren't afraid to drag each other online whenever they possibly can. And well, they've done it again. In this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at just what went down between Pedro and Oscar in their Mandalorian versus Moonlight exchange. So let's jump right into it. Oscar Isaac on Mandalorian versus Moonlight. Throughout the years, Pedro and Oscar have had a very public friendship online and always joke around. Recently, during an interview with Remezcla, Oscar Isaac thinks his character Moonlight could easily beat Pedro's Mandalorian. He said he would definitely win the fight while laughing, and even said that he didn't care if Pedro thought otherwise since it's a fact. Oscar is actually also a Star Wars actor. Even though he and Pedro are in different areas of the Star Wars franchise, they still know a lot about each other's characters. So it's safe to say Oscar probably knows what he's talking about, but it seems like he just thought of a funny response to say off the top of his head when this question was asked. Mandalorian and Moon Knight are from completely different franchises, so it doesn't really make sense to compare them. But if you really look into things, you'll realize just how similar the two really are. Both of them are mysterious and ruthless when they need to be. They both have incredible armor and weapons at their disposal. But at the same time, they also have a bunch of differences and make it harder to guess which of them would really win in a fight. But Pedro Pascal seems to think the answer is quite simple. Pedro literally laughed. When Pedro was promoting his newest movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, he was told what Isaac had to say about Mandalorian versus Moon Knight. After hearing what Isaac said, Pedro let out a condescending laugh and later said, "That's so sweet." He doesn't think that Moon Knight even has a chance against the Mandalorian because of their physical differences. To annoy the Marvel actor even more, Pedro said maybe Moon Knight would beat the Mandalorian at Scrabble, but not a fight. It's obvious Pedro is confident that his character will win no matter what. Even fans of Moon Knight agree that currently, Mandalorian would easily beat him up if there ever was a crossover. But some people say we simply haven't seen enough of Moon Knight to be able to judge him like this. We've only seen 3 episodes of him so far, and he hasn't gotten the chance to showcase his full potential yet. On the other hand, Mandalorian has gotten multiple seasons and even movies that have shown us just how far he can go if he needs to. Who would actually win? After this whole debate between the two actors, everyone's been wondering who would actually win. Obviously, both Pedro and Oscar are kind of biased towards their own characters, so they can't really judge who wins. That's why we're gonna do it ourselves. From a glance, the winner seems pretty obvious, Mandalorian. This is because of his darksaber. It's way too overpowered. It would basically be impossible for the Moon Knight to go up against him just because of that weapon. It's not just the darksaber. Mandalorian also has other weapons, like the Ambin sniper rifle that literally vaporizes his enemies after just one shot. Mandalorian also has extremely powerful armor, so he probably wouldn't even get hurt by Moon Knight if he attacked him. What makes things even worse for Moon Knight are his alternative personalities. This is a huge disadvantage since it can affect his rational thinking. So if at any point things get too hard for Moon Knight, he could make some stupid decision and lose instantly. Mandalorian, on the other hand, is known for keeping us cool and doesn't have to deal with any disorders or weaknesses. One thing many fans agree with is that Moon Knight from the comics would have a way bigger chance of actually winning against Mandalorian. In the comics, his powers are way stronger than in the MCU for some reason. Maybe later on in the series we'll see him get stronger. At the current moment, it seems like Mandalorian is the winner, but we never really know until they actually face off. We probably won't be seeing that anytime soon, but maybe this is a hint. Brothers from another mother, despite how it might seem. Pedro and Oscar are great friends. Pedro even told Esquire that Oscar was like a younger brother to him. They met way back in 2005 when they were working on an off-Broadway play in New York City. That's when their friendship really started. Later in 2019, they even worked on a movie together called Triple Frontier. Their friendship first got famous after their interview at Wired. Many fans even joke saying the two acted like a couple that has been married for over 10 years. There's a big reason why they get along so well. The two actors have pretty similar upbringings and backgrounds. They're both Latin immigrants who always had the dream of becoming actors. Pedro said he thought his journey would be lonely, but on the way, he ended up finding Oscar, who has basically been family. Apparently, Oscar even convinced Pedro to become Mandalorian himself after he was having doubts. Other news: Pedro doesn't want The Last of Us to imitate the series. A few months ago, it was revealed that Pedro Pascal will be playing the role of Joel in The Last of Us video game adaptation. So recently, he actually played the game himself and said he was extremely impressed by its visuals, but he said that he was worried that he was imitating it too much for his role. He wanted to create his own version of the character and didn't want it to be identical to the one in the game. Even though Pedro doesn't want the series to replicate the game too much, considering it's being directed by Druckmann and Mazin, it'll probably end up being faithful to the game's storyline. Pedro also told fans not to worry about the series because it's in good hands. Many fans worry about video game adaptations since they're either too different from the games or nothing like them at all. Plus, the best part of a video game is that you get to do everything yourself, so it's hard to make the series good enough for the video game fans. But Pedro says the creators of the show already love the game and are trying to make a perfect balance. Oscar Isaac was hesitant about playing Moon Knight. Before Moon Knight, Oscar was a part of the Star Wars franchise as Poe Dameron in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Once this ended, Oscar thought he was finally done with big blockbusters. That was until he was asked to become Moon Knight. At first, he was super hesitant since he knew nothing about Moon Knight, since the character isn't as popular as some other Marvel superheroes. shows. But Oscar said that he actually liked the fact that everyone was not familiar with the superhero. Moon Knight was first introduced way back in 1975, but the character has changed quite a lot over the years, so no one really knows what to expect from the coming episodes. At times, when the show delved into the split personality disorder, Oscar said it didn't even feel like a superhero show. Oscar hasn't reprised his role yet. Usually, Marvel contracts specify that actors need to return for any future projects down the line, but Oscar Isaac is free to go. Apparently, his hesitancy to play the character in the first place had a lot to do with this. Since he didn't want to join such a large franchise right after completing one, he decided to only do a season and figure out what he wants to do going forward. He later said it depends on if people like it, if people want to see more, and if we find a story that's worth telling. So basically, if there's a positive fan reaction to the show, Moon Knight will probably return for another season. Currently, there are great reviews for Moon Knight, but there's no telling how long they're gonna last considering the show just came out. It was pretty disappointing for a lot of fans to hear that Oscar Isaac might not return to play Moon Knight in the future, but at least he gave us some hope. If people really rave about the superhero show, then there's a huge chance that he'll reappear in the future seasons. Plus, Marvel actors are known for lying when it comes to their future in the MCU, so you can never take them seriously. Fans were very surprised when they found out Oscar Isaac was hesitant on becoming Moon Knight, since no one else could have been a more perfect fit for the character. It's hard to think who else could have played Moon Knight other than Oscar Isaac. That's a wrap for today's video. Who do you think would win in a fight between Mandalorian and Moon Knight? Make sure to let us know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more videos like this. We'll see you next time.